Hello friends, welcome to the official channel. So this is the problem statement that we are going to solve today. So how do you write a Spring Boot code to obtain user and to-do data from the API? And additionally, we have to include the logic to map all to-do list for each user. So finally, we have to provide the endpoint to retrieve the to-do list based on the specific user ID. Let's see what is the solution for the Spring Boot code. So before that, I will just go and explain the endpoints, how the data will be. So if you see, right, this is the open source API that we have for GoRestin. So if you go, these are the different APIs which is provided by this GoRest. And if you see, right, if you go to the user endpoint, right, here, this is the field that we have: ID, name, email, gender, and the status. So if you want to go to particular user ID, right, so we have to hit a endpoint for this. So here is the endpoint. For particular user ID. So same as if you want to go to the particular to-do class, right? So these are the to-do endpoints which will be getting the list of to-do list. But if you want to go for the particular user ID, right, you can give the user ID for the particular to-do list. It will be just giving the to-do list if we have it. So let's go into the code. So first, what I will be going to do is I will be just creating the to-do class and the user class. So in to-do class and user class, I will be mapping the data from the REST endpoints. So here, right, I have defined to-do class which will be having the ID and the user ID, title, and the status. So these are the annotations that we imported from the long book. So we don't need to create the getter and the setter for this. So here I have annotated JSON ignore properties, ignore unknown is equal to true. So what does it mean is like if any new field is added in the payload future, right? If we don't have it in our Mojo class also, it doesn't make any error. So that's why I have defined it. So if you see, right, why I have just given like this, because if you see in the payload, right, the user ID is user underscore ID, but here I have defined as user ID. So in the if I use the JSON property, right, it will be directly mapped it. So if we don't use it, right, it will give null for that particular ID. So let's go to the controller. So here is our user controller class, which is which has the base path of users, and here we have exposed to one get endpoints, and here we have exposed the endpoints user IDs and to-dos. So user ID we will be getting from the user. For that particular user, we have to return the list of to-dos. So if we go to the get user to-dos, right, so here we are making an API call. If you see, right, I have created a REST template here. If you in the main application will be having a B, so that will be injected here directly. So we are making an API call for the user. If the user is not available, right? If the user is not available, we are not going to do anything. We will be returning the empty list. If the user is available, we have to get the list of to-dos. So here, this is the URL for getting the particular to-do list for that ID. So here, if you see, right, we are getting the list of to-dos. So that's the reason we have given these parameters, 3 different parameters here. So first is the URL, and next is the method that we are going to hit. It's a post method or get method. And here I'm not expecting any response entity. And the final output I want is list of to-do. So here that's why I have given parameters type references list of to-do. Yeah. So let's go and see the output for this. So here is my I have running the application in 82 port. So if you hit the send button, right, if you hit this, right, you will be getting the output for that. So I think this user ID is not available. Let me hit other endpoints. Let me check that. Yeah, but if you try it, right, it will work if the user is available.